excited to bring their family here to enjoy this event.
America welcomes the world.
Yes.
And I can really, from the collaboration that we have, testify for that, absolutely. Thank you.
And I was just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But he'll, I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him. Okay of me, but nice of him. So that was very nice that it was sent to me. Okay?
This is my video update on this Saturday midday, August the 23rd, coming to you from Larnaca, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with Trump at the White House having a meeting with the FIFA chief, where they announced that the men's draw for the 2026 World Cup, which will be in the United States, in Canada, and in Mexico, the drawing will take place at the Kennedy Center, I believe Trump said, and I think the actual event will be on December the 6th, and Trump may actually be there to conduct the drawing for the World Cup 2026. And Trump broke out a photo of him and Putin. that was the geopolitical news in all of this. Yeah, he breaks out a photo of him and Putin. I don't know if Putin gave him that photo or the photographers presented him with that photo. I don't know exactly why he decided to show this photo. But he said it's a great photo. He said Putin is looking really good. He's looking pretty good as well. And he hinted at some sort of invitation to the Russian president to the 2026 World Cup. I believe FIFA has banned Russia, or they still are banning Russia from FIFA, from the World Cup play. So that would be interesting if Putin got an invite to the World Cup as FIFA continues to ban Russia. So yesterday, Trump posted on Truth Social about attacking Russia and how Ukraine was not given by the Biden administration, was not given offensive help. So it had to rely only on defense. And there were some hints there that perhaps Ukraine will be striking Russia in one way or another. I'll get into that a bit later in the video. That was yesterday's post. And on Truth Social, and well, that was 2 days ago on Truth Social. And then yesterday in the Oval Office, Trump is breaking out a photo of him and Putin, which is an interesting change of tone from U.S. President Trump. It is what it is. Trump also said that this is an interesting comment. He said that he's going to be backing off from Project Ukraine negotiations because the U.S. is the negotiator in all of this, the neutral mediator. And he said that they're going to be backing off for a couple of weeks to just allow Russia and Ukraine to see if they can figure it out. And Trump said, if they need me to help out, I will help out, but I'm backing off for a couple of weeks. So this can be interpreted in a couple of ways. The first way is that this can be interpreted as that Trump is backing off because trying to get the meeting between Russia and Ukraine has proven to be very, very difficult. And so maybe the Trump White House and Trump himself is saying, you know what, I need to back off and rethink this. Another way that you can interpret this is that some people have been whispering in Trump's ear to back off for a couple of weeks because Ukraine is going to try some long-range missile strikes into Russia. So give it a couple of weeks. Let's see what happens, and maybe we'll be able to get some leverage on Russia. The rumor is that the long-range missile strikes using the Flamingo this Flamingo missile, which I'll get to in a bit, that it's going to target Russian energy infrastructure, and this will give the collective West and Ukraine leverage over Putin in future negotiations. So before we get to the Flamingo, we'll also talk about the Oreshnik as well. Let's discuss the raid on Bolton's home and office. John Bolton got raided. The FBI, they went to his primary residence in, I believe in DC, the DC area. And they also went to his office, and they're looking for classified documents. The reports are that Bolton has classified docs, that he took classified documents for a book that he's preparing or that he has published. I actually think he has published this book. Anyway, he has these classified docs. He's holding on to them. And this is a big no-no. And so they raided Bolton's home and his office. Word on the street is that the CIA actually gave over the information to the FBI. So Ratcliffe gave the information to Kash Patel, and then Kash Patel, he greenlit the raid on the walrus. The walrus. I am the walrus. I am, what is the song? I'm the Eggman, right? I'm the walrus, I'm the Eggman. Anyway, yeah, Bolton got raided. He did not look very happy in the videos that came out as he was arriving to his home. And so you look, the Democrats, they started this. Everyone was telling the Democrats and the Biden administration, don't do this. You're going to set a very bad precedent. And here we are. And Bolton was cheering on the raids at Mar-a-Lago and Trump and all of the arrests, everything that the Biden administration did to the Trump administration. Bolton was one of the big cheerleaders. What goes around comes around. Anyway, FBI searches ex-National Security Advisor John Bolton's house in Maryland. No one is above the law. At FBI agents on mission, Patel posted on X. No one is above the law. They love that phrase. No one is above the law. Except maybe Ghislaine Maxwell. That's our next topic. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell. I think she's in a very, very low security country club facility right now in Texas, right? And she was interviewed by the DOJ attorney. I forgot the guy's name, Blanche, I want to say. Anyway, he interviewed her a couple of times. And that transcript has now been released. It's been made public. And at the moment, as everyone is going through these documents, I believe 2 days of interviews, transcripts, a lot of redactions, recordings, audio recordings. As people are going through these documents released by the DOJ from Ghislaine Maxwell, we have 3 big revelations from these interviews from Ghislaine. Revelation number 1 is that Epstein did not kill himself. This is what Ghislaine believes. He did not self-delete. Revelation number 2, there is no client list. Client list does not exist. And revelation number 3 is Maxwell confirms she never witnessed President Trump in any inappropriate setting in any way. So those are the 3 big revelations from this release so far. No client list. Trump did nothing wrong, or at least Ghislaine did not see anything going on with Trump, and Epstein did not self-delete. Ghislaine Maxwell says Epstein didn't kill himself, yet also no blackmail or list exists. In prison where I am, they will kill you for $25 worth of commissary. That is what she told the DOJ attorney. So she is basically saying that someone deleted Epstein for $25 worth of cigarettes and whatever else they use as exchange in prison. I don't know, $25, $50, whatever. That was what someone got to take out Epstein, according to Maxwell. At least that's what she's hinting at. And no client list. Of course, there's no client list, right? No client list. So that was the revelation from Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh man. Anyway, she's gonna be pardoned, man. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Pretty soon, she will be set free. That would be my guess. A lot of people are saying that. We'll see. Let's talk about the Flamingo. You know, I'm close to the Salt Lake, where we do get flamingos. Not now. Too hot for the migratory birds. Not the season. But in about 4 or 5 months, that Salt Lake will be turned pink with all the flamingos that come to Larnaca. So Ukraine is touting the Flamingo missile, and they published a video of this missile in some warehouse. And the claims from the Ukraine military and from the Zelensky regime is that Ukraine is manufacturing this Flamingo all on their own. They're manufacturing this thing. They're producing 1 Flamingo per day, and in the next couple of weeks, they will up the production to 7 Flamingo missiles a day. Has a 3,000 kilometer range. Very, very powerful warhead, but very slow, very big and very slow. Very, very big and very slow. And yesterday, there were some analysts on the interwebs looking at the video that Ukraine published of the Flamingo in the warehouse. And a lot of analysts, they said, you know what? Going through the warehouse and the images that we're seeing, it looks like this is not a warehouse in Ukraine, and this is not being manufactured in Ukraine. This looks to be some sort of propaganda video recorded in a rented warehouse. And the thinking now is that the Flamingo looks very similar to the German V1 missile, and most likely what is going on here is that this missile is being manufactured out of the UK. That appears to be what's going on. I can't confirm this 100%, but that is what a lot of the experts, weapons experts, people that understand these things better than I do, that's what they're saying. On the interwebs, Ukraine's Flamingo FP5 is equal to the UK Millennium FP5 kits manufactured in England and Wales and assembled in Ukraine. This thing looks like Germany's World War II V1 rocket. So it looks like the Flamingo is similar to the Sapsan, which Ukraine also claimed they manufactured all by themselves. But what was really, from my understanding of the Sapsan, it was really just a German missile that was then sent to Ukraine, which was stored in Ukraine, maybe assembled to a certain degree in Ukraine, and then the Russians blew up the whole freaking thing about a week ago. And the Sapsan was a much faster, from my understanding, was a much faster, much more lethal missile. Something that the Russians would get a handle on, but something that could have done some damage. But the FSB and the Russian Ministry of Defense, they located the Sapsan, the production facility, as well as the entire supply chain, and they demolished the whole freaking thing last week. And it looks like the same thing is going on with the Flamingo, at least according to some of the experts who are saying this thing is basically manufactured in the UK and Wales, and then it's sent to Ukraine, where it's kind of put together, assembled. And the whole propaganda video, it looks like it was propaganda, it was a whole propaganda video to showcase that this missile is being manufactured in Ukraine when it actually is not. Anyway, that is, I can't judge these things. I'm just telling you what many of the of the experts and analysts are saying as they were looking at all of the videos and the images for this Flamingo missile. I will say that when you look at the missile and you look at the V1 and this UK Millennium missile, it all looks pretty much the same, but what do I know? It does move very slowly, the Flamingo, and if the plan is to launch these things in the next couple of weeks, let's say Trump is taking a step back from the negotiations because people told him, the hawks told him, give it a couple of weeks, let's have Ukraine launch these missiles and see what they do. If that is indeed what's going on, all the experts are saying that that Russia should have, I'm not saying they will, but Russia should have no problem, the air defenses, knocking down this very big, slow missile, even though it has quite a long range. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Flamingo. You can go onto X, onto Telegram. There are a lot of experts, analysis that can break this thing down a lot better than I could. Now, let's talk about a missile that is very powerful, that is very lethal, and that there is no air defense for, and that is the Oreshnik. And Lukashenko, he was issuing statements yesterday on various topics, and he let it slip, most likely on purpose. But Lukashenko, he let it slip that the hardliners in Moscow were telling Putin to launch an Oreshnik into Kiev, into Bankova, the headquarters of Zelensky and his regime. And there was actual talk about this in Moscow. And what happened? Putin vetoed this. Putin vetoed Oreshnik strike on Kiev. The Russian president rejected a proposal to wipe out Ukraine's decision-making centers with hypersonic missiles, the Belarusian leader has said. Speaking to reporters in Minsk on Friday, Lukashenko claimed that unnamed figures in Russia had suggested using the system against Kiev's decision-making centers, but Putin refused. Absolutely not, was the Russian leader's response, according to the Belarusian president, who added that if such a strike had taken place, there would have been nothing left. So a lot of people always ask the question, you know, why not use the Oreshnik to take out decision-making centers? It looks like that was being discussed, and it was Putin who said no freaking way. For various reasons, obvious reasons why Putin would not want to go after the decision-making centers or any type of decapitation strikes, even though Ukraine goes after Russian officials. They've tried to take out Putin himself. The SBU and Budanov, Ukraine, which is of course backed by the CIA and the collective West, they've made no secret about the fact that they've tried to take out the Russian leadership. Here we have Lukashenko saying that Putin is not operating like that at all. He does not want the Russian military to target the Ukraine leadership. So yesterday I talked about the Duzba pipeline and how Ukraine has attacked this pipeline in the past 2 weeks. They've attacked this pipeline 3 times. And this is a very important pipeline for Hungary and for Slovakia, an oil pipeline. And the European Union is doing nothing about it. Obviously, they're doing nothing about it because, as I said in my video update yesterday, I believe that the globalists, they are working to weaken Hungary and Slovakia, and that means weaken Hungary and Slovakia's energy security, weaken their economies, create instability, because the ultimate goal for the globalists is to get a regime change in 2026, both in Slovakia and in Hungary. I believe Hungary is going to have elections in 2026. Parliament elections are going to be taking place, and they even have their puppet leader picked out, a man who goes by the name of Peter Magyar, who has been selected by the European Union and by the globalists to be the guy that rules over Hungary if they can remove Orban. And this guy is a globalist puppet through and through. That's the guy that they've picked. And so they're working overtime to try and weaken Hungary and also weaken Slovakia and Fico. Anyway, I talked about this in my video update yesterday. And because the European Union is not helping out Hungary, which is really bizarre when you think about it. An EU country is being attacked by a non-EU country, and the European Union is saying, I don't know what's going on. I don't see any problem with this. Just shows you that the whole notion of EU solidarity and unity is a joke. But it looks like Hungary, they notified Trump of what's going on. And Trump doesn't like it. I don't like it. That's what Trump said in a note, in a handwritten note. He says, I don't like it. Balázs Orbán, who is I guess you would say he's the chief of staff in a way for Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, no relation. He posted on X, even U.S. President Donald Trump has voiced outrage over Ukraine's strike on the Duzba pipeline, the third such attack in a short period. The Duzba pipeline is a vital source of Hungary's crude oil supply, without which our energy security cannot be guaranteed. Hungary will not allow its security to be undermined. And then you can see a note that was attached to this post, and it's from Viktor Orbán, and Orbán explains the situation to Trump. He also encourages Trump and wishes him well in his negotiation process with Russia and in the meeting in Alaska with Putin. And what does Trump say? Trump says, Viktor, I do not like hearing this. I am very angry about it. Tell Slovakia, you are my great friends, Donald. I don't like it. Yeah, let's see what Trump does. I actually mentioned this in my video update yesterday, and here we have it. Hungary has gone to Trump because the EU is not doing anything about this. And so Hungary has now gone to Trump, and here you have the letter from Trump saying, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I think Trump is going to do something, man. I think Trump is going to tell Zelensky to cut it out. That's what I think is going to happen, but we'll see. Maybe nothing happens. That will also be very revealing if Zelensky continues to attack the Duzba pipeline with Trump knowing what's going on. I imagine he knew beforehand what was going on, but who knows? Let's just assume he had no idea what was going on, even though that's kind of ridiculous to believe that. But anyway, let's assume he had no idea what was going on with the attacks on the Duzba pipeline. Now that this has been presented to him, and if Zelensky continues to attack the Duzba pipeline, it will be very revealing to see what Trump does, because as I said in my video update yesterday, Orbán is Trump's friend. He has been Trump's supporter from the very beginning, when all the EU leaders turned their back on Trump and they actively campaigned for Kamala Harris. Well, I don't want to say actively campaigned, actively supported Kamala Harris in the elections. It was Orbán and Fico, I believe. But Orbán was the one standout European leader who supported Trump 100% against the wishes of the EU globalist elite. So we will see what Trump does with this situation with the Duzba pipeline. So Putin yesterday visited the city of Sarov. I believe this city it's defined as a closed city because this is where all of the nuclear research and the facilities, this is where all of this stuff happens. And a lot of nuclear physicists and specialists in atomic energy, they came out to listen to Putin speak. And Putin said some very encouraging things, to be quite honest, with regards to the peace process with Ukraine and the rapprochement with the United States. From Kirill Dmitriev, President Putin hails the Alaska summit's positive results and says full restoration of U.S.-Russia ties is on the table. He also praises President Trump's leadership, a real step towards peace and stability. Putin, light at the end of the tunnel. That is what Putin said. He sees light at the end of the tunnel with relations with the United States, with some resolution with Ukraine. Quite encouraging words from the Russian president. Putin also said that, or he hinted at a possible cooperation in the Arctic between the United States and Russia. He said that Russia has the best tech the best icebreakers, the best infrastructure. They have the best of everything when it comes to the Arctic. And he said that the United States is very interested in working with Russia in the Arctic. And he hinted at some sort of a cooperation, a joint exploration in the Arctic between the United States and Russia. And then Putin said this about the unfriendly countries in the collective West that are targeting Russia, that want to escalate with Russia, that want a regime change in Russia, that want to destroy Russia. This was Putin's answer. He said, Russia doesn't have unfriendly countries. We have unfriendly elites in certain countries.
Вы сказали, что мы вот после начала СВО практически, да, больше выстраиваем отношения с нашими партнерами в дружественных странах. Так мы раньше там работали. Если так по-честному. У нас что отвалилось-то из проектов из так называемых недружественных стран? Ну, кстати, у нас нет недружественных стран. У нас есть недружественные элиты в некоторых странах.
What a statement from Putin, huh? We don't have unfriendly countries. We get along with the people, or we want to get along with people from all countries. The people are not unfriendly to Russia or the Russian people. It is the unfriendly elites. That's the problem. The unfriendly elites. Yeah, man. Those unfriendly elites. I wonder who else is next for Trump and for the DOJ and Tulsi Gabbard. I wonder who's next. Brennan? Are we going to see Brennan, Clapper? There are rumors that Brennan is trying to leave the United States. I read somewhere that he's received or is trying to get an Irish passport and trying to make his way to Ireland. These are just rumors. But Brennan feels the heat is on. So they're going after Bolton. You have Brennan, you have Clapper. Biden, who knows, man? A lot of people went after Trump. A lot of neocons went after Trump. Neocons who now claim to be his friend. They went after the Trump administration during the whole Russiagate thing, and even after the whole Russiagate thing, when Biden was president, they went after Trump in a big way. So we'll see who's next. Tulsi Gabbard, according to CBS News, she has cut off all intelligence sharing with the Five Eyes when it comes to the peace negotiations between Russia and the United States. Just when it comes to the peace negotiations, not everything else. Tulsi Gabbard has cut off the intelligence sharing with the Five Eyes. The Five Eyes are very upset. They're shocked about this because they thought that we were best buds. We were the Five Eyes. We're best friends. How could the United States do this to us? Well, they're doing this because they don't want, at least Tulsi Gabbard's office doesn't want the other eyes in the Five Eyes to sabotage the rapprochement and the negotiations. That's why Tulsi Gabbard is cutting off intelligence sharing when it comes to the negotiations with Russia to the other Five Eyes members. She understands that whatever intel is shared with the Five Eyes, they're going to use that intel to try and sabotage the diplomatic rapprochement. So, should we do a clown world? Wrap up this video. We're going to have parliament elections in Moldova, I believe in a couple of months, maybe even sooner than that. There's going to be parliament elections in Moldova. Sandu's party appears to, I believe they're in the lead, but if you combine the two opposition parties, then they have the majority. So her party alone is in the lead, but the two opposition parties together will be in a better position if they combine forces. Anyway, of course, Sandu and the European Union, they're running with the Russia meddling line. Of course, they're going to go with that one. They never get tired of it, even though Russiagate and Russian meddling in the United States has been completely freaking debunked. It looks like the European Union has not gotten the memo on that one. But in order to provide support to Sandu as elections approach, Macron, Merz, and Tusk, They are visiting Moldova. And according to Politico, this is a subtle warning to Putin. 1 month out from Moldova's parliamentary election, France, Germany, and Poland are coming with a message for Moscow. Don't meddle in the Moldova elections. That's the message from BlackRock Mertz, Little Napoleon, and Donald Tusk. You better not meddle in Moldova's parliament elections or else. Because we're going to meddle in Moldova's elections. Projection, man. Whatever they accuse Russia of is exactly what they're doing. Yeah, they're freaked out. They're freaked out at the fact that that if the opposition joins forces, then they could be in trouble in Moldova. And so I'm sure they're there to figure out how they're going to meddle in Moldova's elections. Remember the last elections, if you just took the votes inside the country, then Sandu would have lost. So they had to use the votes of the diaspora in order to give Sandu the win. I'm telling you, Mertz, Macron, Tusk, do they do anything for their country, for their countries? I mean, do they actually work on solving problems within their own countries in Germany and in Poland and France? All they do is take trips and meddle in other countries' affairs. That's all they do. They travel around and meddle in the affairs of other countries on behalf of the European Union. Seems like they do nothing for their own freaking country. All they're concerned about is Russia, Russia, Russia. That's it. They're not concerned about Germany, not concerned about France, not concerned about Poland. It's all about Russia. Anyway, remember the story that I talked about a couple of days ago with the White House meeting? And there were rumors that Ursula was kicked out of the leaders' talk because she's not a leader of a sovereign country. And these rumors originated from a German MP, parliament member. Well, the European Commission is pushing back, saying this is Russian disinformation, and these rumors are false. We have seen reporting which claims President von der Leyen left the room temporarily during meetings with POTUS and Zelensky in DC on Monday. These reports are completely false. The president participated in all meetings at all times with the other European leaders. First of all, president? That's my first comment. They want to make sure they get that word in there. President. So they can make it seem as if she's an actual democratically elected leader of an actual country, right? President von der Leyen. Unelected. How about the unelected bureaucrat? I think that's a more accurate term for von der Math. Anyway, yeah, the president, the leader, she was not kicked out of a White House meeting. She attended the White House meeting with Zelensky and with POTUS and all of the leaders. So it is false information, Russian disinformation. Anyway, that is the latest from that clown world affair. President von der Leyen. I am president. You will address me as president. Tatters. That's the video, everybody. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble. We are on X. We are on Telegram. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, what we are wearing in this video update. There is a link in the description box down below. This apartment is almost complete. Wow, it's going to be a big complex. Not a bad location either. You got the beach over there. You got Mackenzie down that way. You got the one beach down that way, and you got the Salt Lake down that way. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. Take care.